Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I have an interesting game to share with you that was played on chess.com December 6th. A 3-0 blitz game between Magnus Carlsen on the white end and Daniel Naroditsky. This was Carlsen's last opponent on his path to breaking Nakamura's blitz record. They played a group of 6 games. This is the one I found most interesting and instructive. The blitz record was 33-36. Carlsen is now at the top with a 33-40 blitz rating. So really cool to see the competition between these two. Each, you can be sure, is well aware of these records and trying to one-up each other. So in the coming weeks, months, will Nakamura one-up Carlsen? We'll have to see. Some World Chess Championship prep for this game. A serious opening, to be sure. Ruy Lopez. Now, one of the things I found instructive with this game is this piece right here. Watch how this one minor piece, when posted on rank 6, dominates not just one, but 2 major pieces. Let's get some standard moves in here. Once white secures e4, there is a threat to win a pawn. Black's there in time, kicks the bishop back. d6, prep work for the central push, new square for the bishop. Castles, security for the knight prior to d4. Chigurin variation, bishop is preserved. C-pawn contributes. This is one of the points behind the Chigurin. Get the C-pawn playing. In comes d4. Knight d7 signals the carries variation. Space now for Carlsen on the queen side. Bishop f6. Knight b to d2. And in the game, we now have g6. This is one of the most popular moves in this position. In the computer's eyes, what's considered best is knight b6. For what reason or reasons? Well, a knight on b6 factors in 2 pawn advances. One of them being b4. Black's now in a position to consider knight c4, has support for that jump. And the other note is that it has an eye, this knight on b6 has an eye on a4. So this thematic pawn advance, a4, rook pawn attacking a knight pawn to activate a rook, it's not as effective. Or I should say, if you do play a4 here, there's now a cost. And that cost would be the light square bishop. All right. In this game, it's g6, right around the corner for black. Bishop g7 and f5. We continue now with b4. And in the game, the knight goes back to b7. If the knight tries to go forward here, this is not good because white can take. This pawn is especially vulnerable, probably an overextended pawn, likely to fall. But on top of that, a big square is given up to white with this capture. a4. The bishop is now able to snake into the weakest square in black's camp, c6. In this game, it's knight b7. In comes a4, cb, cb, and now b takes a is played. So you may be wondering, why is black welcoming this bishop into the weakest square, c6? What if black doesn't take on a4 here? Let's say the rook goes to b8, preparing to meet this capture with the recapture. The rook is no longer in trouble. If this ram structure is present, how does this fianchettoed knight contribute? How do you undermine the b pawn? This is black's idea in the game. He's well aware that this bishop is being activated. His idea is to now challenge the b pawn so that these 2 knights finally have access to c5. In comes bishop c6. 2 things happening with that move. There's 2 pins. 1 move, 2 pins here. Pawn and knight are now pinned to the rook. From here, rook b8. And now the bishop with b5 is officially superglued into this c6 square. This is already a decisive advantage for white. Very accurate game by Carlsen here. The problem here, one of the problems for black, is the bishop is annoying, and if you try to get rid of the bishop, you're going to have to deal with an annoying pawn. Maybe taking it towards the center or away from the center, acquiring connected passed pawns. So however you slice it, a fantastic position for white here. A bishop or pawn on c6 is a great thorn in black's side. I said earlier that the bishop dominates two major pieces. We're going to see that much more clearly as the position simplifies, but you may say the bishop on c6 dominates the whole board. It's that good of a piece. From here, we continue with knight b6, bishop a3, has an eye on a base point, a4, queen c2, bishop e7, and knight c4. Black is only playing on 3 ranks, really. This is the furthest advanced pawn, and even that point is being challenged. We get that knight exchange, and some context here with this 3-minute game. Black spent about 25 seconds on this next move. He played queen b6, and Carlsen's reply came in about a second. He had already anticipated that this would be a move, and that the bishop on e7 would be unprotected. In comes knight e7. If you take, you lose the bishop. Part of Naroditsky's calculation, I imagine, was to meet this move. He saw it was coming, and his idea was this counterpunch. Carlsen saw that one because his reply was nearly instant. He drops right back to f3. He's prepared in this position to part ways with a rook. Why? Well, this is a super valuable dark square bishop. You might want to think about that fianchettoed bishop as a 4-point bishop. Now there are these ideas to do something on the dark squares. Line the queen and bishop up, go for mate. Completely winning position here for white. There is a follow-up here with knight c5. We can simplify, and we have now no queens on board. And look at this piece. This is where it becomes crystal clear of just how amazing this bishop is. We have these files for the rooks, but how do you get there? With this monster on c6. Completely dominant position. And with this last pawn capture, there is now a second passed pawn for white. The d pawn is ready to go. From here, rook takes a, bishop b7, knight e5, possible fork here, rook a8. Normally, you'll want to duck the rook exchange when you're behind the exchange here, keep a rook on board, help out with the minor pieces, but white is in such a great position here, you could actually simplify this position further. He exchanges rooks and gets the king rolling. There's a clear plan to bring the king all the way up here, take a pawn, and start pushing. There's nothing that black can do. He tries f5, knight d7, targets the rook, rook d8, and now cool move here, knight b6. He's saying, go ahead, take me. I'm going to be able to recapture with either pawn, and then there's no stopping my c pawn. So Naroditsky comes up with something clever here. Bishop b7, his plan to meet the capture with a skewer. He gets the piece back, but white preserves that monster light square bishop. It's once more glued to the the c6 square. And from here, we now have a third passed pawn. This one's over. What do you do here? We get a couple more moves in, but 3 passed pawns too many. The plan here, scoop up the pawn. We just get a couple king moves in, but there's just no activity for the rook, and white is completely winning. This is the point that black threw in the towel. If the game did continue, we're taking here and just pushing all of our pawns. There's really not a way to go wrong here. 0 activity for black, 0 counterplay for black in this final position. What did you think of this one? Anyhow, feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.